This is a 2020 Jeep Gladiator in the Overland trim. I'm gonna give you 10 things you need to know. If you're considering buying one of these Jeeps, check out my review starting right now. All right, so here's the thing. This Jeep has been a long time coming. They had, spy photos of all kinds on the internet for going back with what feels like forever, but certainly 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. But it's been in talks about Jeep turning one of their generations of the regular Jeep into a truck for, 20 years ago, ever since the Scrambler went away. And so it's finally here, but does it stack up? Is it the right vehicle for you? So the first thing I want to talk about, so number 10 is the exterior. It looks just like a normal Jeep. So there really isn't a lot of differentiation from the back of the cab forward. It looks just like a Jeep. They didn't make any, major changes to the way it looks. This is the Overland edition, so you get the monochromatic look. This has the full hardtop body colored, which is in this red color. The bed is a useful size. It's equivalent to a mid-size truck like a Tacoma or a Colorado, and now the Ranger. So this gives FCA a market presence for the mid-size truck. All right, number 9, what does the Overland package come with? So you get keyless entry, remote start. You get the option for the larger touchscreen. It has available leather seats, which are included in this package, as well as some safety features that you can add on. I'll talk more about those in the safety, but they include adaptive cruise control. So the Overland package is really the most premium package you can get. There's also a Northern package, which includes all the Overland stuff, plus heated seats, steering wheel, a full-time 4x4 system geared more towards, snowy driving. And so the leather wrapped steering wheel, the materials feel nice, but not so premium that they, you would feel like they aren't durable when the top's off and the sun and the sand and the wind are all inside the cab. They seem durable, tough, long lasting. We'll see how these trucks do over time in terms of their durability. Okay, number 8 is the safety features. So you would think this is a Jeep, they're not going to include a lot of safety technology, but they actually do. And one of the things with the Overland packages, you are opened up to adding on a couple of key features. One is adaptive cruise control. So you can actually get adaptive cruise control on a Jeep. And that's pretty cool. I often comment how these luxury makers don't include adaptive cruise control as even an option, or it's a top tier thing, but you can get it on a Jeep. You can also get emergency braking, which will brake the car real hard. It goes with the adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, and cross path detection when you're parking for the park assist. So there's some good safety technology. It is all optional, none of it's included. I would have liked to have seen it, since this is the Overland, it's the premium version. Some of it should have been included, but people are willing to pay for it as an add-on. If that's important to you, I would recommend you get it. All right, number 7. So the infotainment system in Chrysler products is the Uconnect. I think it's one of the good systems on the market. You can get the larger screen, so it's 8.4 inches instead of 7. It's a little bit bigger. And the biggest thing that I like that they've done with their most recent update is they have CarPlay, but when you have CarPlay active, you have these buttons that remain on the screen, so it doesn't take up the whole screen, which includes climate controls, media, and then you can switch to your phone or settings without having to go to some other home screen. So all those buttons remain on the bottom, almost like favorites. And so that's something that they've recently updated that I really like. and you know, it's in the Jeep products as well as Ram. And so I like the screen. The Uconnect is responsive, it's quick, it's got CarPlay, it's got Android Auto, so it's a great system. Infotainment system gets high marks. All right, number 6, the back seat room. It's kind of tight. I'm gonna jump back there and show you a clip with me in the back, but it's not the biggest, but I think that's okay. It's not trying to be a full-size truck, so if that's what you're after, if you want more room, this may not be the right vehicle for you. This is about the Jeep lifestyle while having a truck bed. And then speaking of the truck bed, so let me pop back here. This includes the trifold soft cover. You can kind of flip it up 3 ways. As you can see here, it's not the deepest. There's some junk in the back, but the bed space is adequate. It's a mid-size bed. So it's not going to, you know, be as deep or as long or as wide as a full-size truck. But if you're looking for that, this isn't the truck for you. Hey, if you're looking for car, truck, and SUV reviews, if you want to talk opinion or discussion, consider subscribing. I have new videos regularly on the car, trucks, and SUVs that I borrow, rent, and own. New videos almost every week. All right, number 5, the powertrain. So this comes with the Pentastar V6. It's in most of Chrysler's vehicles as an option, anything that's in the mid-size range. It, in the Jeep setting or the Jeep setup with the 4x4, it gets 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. If you add it on as this does, you get the automatic transmission, which is an 8-speed automatic. I thought it was smooth, easy. You know, the shifting, you can actually shift it into manual mode. I found the power to be adequate for the Jeep. It definitely, you know, pulls when you need to merge in traffic or something like that. So the V6 is plenty good. Now, if you wanted to tow more or for some reason have a larger payload, there may be people out there who would like to see them put a V8 in the Gladiator. We'll see if they do that in future years. Okay, number 4, miles per gallon. So I averaged over 3 days and 500 miles about 18 miles per gallon. So that's not that great. I would primarily attribute that to it's been really windy and this vehicle is just not very aerodynamic. The other thing that this does feature in an attempt to save both in terms of exhaust, you know, pollution and gas mileage, it does have a start-stop feature, so it will shut off at a light, and you can turn it off through the system. So I appreciate that. I think it's good technology to bring. And so the Jeep is not short on technology, which is some of the, you know, Jeeps of past have been. If you haven't seen my Jeep review I did about a year ago, I'm going to post a link probably right here. So number 3, how does this vehicle drive? So I mentioned that flat plane on the side is just so flat, you feel the wind. Now that's true of any Jeep, but it was especially windy last night, and you know, on the highway going 70 miles an hour, you could really feel the wind, crosswind taking the vehicle and wanting to pull it to one side or the other. Compared to a full-size truck, it definitely feels smaller. It's easy to park. It's got a good turning radius. It is quite a bit wider than, say, the 2-door Jeep, which has that really narrow wheelbase, which makes it, you know, kind of special. So this does not have that. It feels longer. It reminds me a lot of driving a Tacoma. They have similar feels in terms of their size and driving characteristics. I did not have the opportunity to take it off-road, but I would love to, maybe in a future video. One thing I'll comment on is the road noise. Now, it's not as quiet as, say, a normal full-size truck without a removable roof, but it's actually more than adequately quiet. Getting this roof off is not super easy. It's going to take you a minute and some tools, but that actually adds to its soundproofing. So I was able to have a conversation on the phone, in the car, and not have the road noise affecting it. It wasn't super annoying compared to some of the soft top Jeeps and certainly older Jeeps. All right, number 2, the interior. So as you know, Jeep upgraded their Wrangler a couple years ago, and this has that same interior. The feeling overall is kind of minimalist. You've got all the functions are generally center mounted here so that the doors and everything else can be taken off. This does include door locks, mirror controls, other things that are on the doors, but the doors are still removable. So the interior is upgraded. The leather bucket seats are nice. One thing that is maybe a downside is they are not very adjustable. So if you're a taller person or you'll have a taller passenger, they're gonna have trouble because they're not gonna have enough headroom and they can't lower the seat down. They'll have to go back, and so it doesn't have the most headroom. So frankly, they're kind of similar to the Tacoma in that regard. So the materials are nice, the knobs are easy to use, the leather seats are a nice upgrade, unless you're off-road all the time and you may want to stick with the cloth buckets, but they seem like they're well made, pretty durable. They can actually be removed if you needed to replace them, if they got, you know, stained or something that bad. And so the leather seats are a nice upgrade. Overall, the interior is really nice for a Jeep. You've got all the creature comforts you would expect of an SUV of this size and price tag, and yet you still have the ability to convert it to, you know, an off-road beast. And all right, and then the number one thing you need to know is the price. And so this to me is where I struggle with the Gladiator. I am considering buying a new truck here in the next year or two, and this is definitely on the list. I'm glad I got the opportunity to drive it, but the price tag is where I struggle. So if you build one online and you get the Overland edition, you add the automatic transmission, the leather seats, the LED lighting package, which looks great, you know, all-weather floor mats, the cover on the bed, you end up over $47,000, and chances are you're not going to get much of a discount off of that MSRP. And so my problem with that is now you're into the highest end truck. You know, you can get a 4x4 Lariat F-150 with a double moonroof for that much money. And so I struggle with $47,000 as the price tag, but a lot of people are buying them. You're seeing them everywhere, which means Jeep does have the pricing right. If people are willing to pay that much, then that is what they should charge. I just feel like it's more than what I would expect to pay for this vehicle. What do you think of the Gladiator with the truck bed? Would you rather have the extra SUV space or a truck bed to put, you know, coolers or whatever else you might want to take off-road, or even use it for work purposes? As you can see here, the boxes, you know, if you're just loading small stuff, it may be useful in that aspect. All right, as I said, I'm going to give you my 3 gripes. So the first one, the side steps. So to me, they're just too close to the height of the vehicle. Now, maybe if you're you know, a smaller person, they will be useful, but for me, they were just in the way. I couldn't use them because if I step on them, I end up too tall to get in. And then now I've just got this extra 4 inches I have to navigate between where I'm getting in and the cab. And so I don't really like the side steps. I don't find them useful. I would like them to either be lower or just really pulled off and gone. So if I bought one of these, that'd be the first thing I do, is get rid of those side steps. Number 2, the blinker seems especially clickety. I think it's blinking too fast. I just found it kind of an annoying blinker sound. I don't know if that's a Jeep thing. For some reason, I just don't like it. I think it's too quick of a sound. And then number 3, this is really a complaint about any Jeep, and that's the lack of aerodynamics makes the vehicle, in a windy situation on the highway, man, I was struggling. It was especially windy, about 30 miles an hour in a crosswind on the highway, and I found it to be where I thought about pulling to the access road and just driving slower, because it felt like the vehicle was gonna, you know, not necessarily tip over, but I was gonna lose control. And so the Jeep's aerodynamics are an issue. It's just something you gotta live with. It's part of the compromise. So Jeep makes a fun off-road vehicle that has a very unique look, and they've stayed true to that. I really love that about Jeeps, but there's a bit of a sacrifice. You don't get everything, and aerodynamics and miles per gallon are 2 of the things you don't get. Let me know what you think of the Jeep Gladiator. If you're considering buying one, or you did buy one, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of the vehicle. Did I get anything wrong, or do you have anything else to add? Leave a comment, let me know. For more reviews of car, trucks, and SUVs, consider subscribing or clicking one of these videos. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.